Hi everyone, welcome back to Mind Body Food TV. It's Viki here with you, and today I want to ask you, why can't you let yourself be happy? This is a question that comes up often with different clients when we're first trying to discover why they aren't happy, because they're sad, frustrated, stressed, really struggling with different people or work or experiences in their lives, and they just can't get past that to get unstuck and be happy now. But what I've discovered over the years of working with many people is that happiness is very subjective, and happiness often comes with conditions. For example, have you ever told yourself that when you get the great job, when you're in the perfect relationship, when you're driving the cool car, when you've lost enough weight to fit into a certain size, when you're married with kids and living in the beautiful house, that is when you'll be happy? Now, these are conditions that, through no fault of our own, we sometimes are led to believe in early childhood or adulthood that these are the things that we have to strive for. These are the things that will contribute to our happiness and make us feel happy. What about all that time that it takes to achieve those goals? Are you going to allow yourself to be happy in that moment, even when you haven't quite achieved that life goal, but you are taking steps daily to make sure that you reach it and you do get there? Often what I find is that when people do attain these life goals that they consider to be expectations or the cream of the experience of being a human, that when they get there, it's not quite what they thought it was going to be. For example, for someone who might be waiting until they lose a certain amount of weight to fit into a certain size, to have a certain shape, to feel more comfortable in their bodies, to appreciate other people noticing their weight loss efforts. For those people waiting until they reach a certain size, shape or weight, when they get there, they often look in the mirror, and even though they look different, they still feel the same amount of dissatisfaction or unhappiness. That's because while they've strived to change the outside, to change the way that they look, which ultimately does encourage them to feel somewhat different, ultimately when they look in the mirror, they are still looking at the same person. They're still confronted with their own character. They are still confronted with the same negative beliefs and conditioned thinking that maybe they're not good enough, they're not lovable, they're not worthy, they don't deserve to have what they want, or that they just simply can't do it. Now, if you're going to focus on changing the outside or changing different bits and pieces of your life so that they all line up, that they all look perfect, that everything will be in its place, and you can then finally be happy, you might be waiting a long time. There actually is research out there that has created connections with happiness. And these are things like a religious involvement, marital status, your age, your income, parenthood, and interaction with other happy people. Your idea of happiness and what that means to you will vary from person to person. So what makes a teenager happy may not necessarily cut it for a 30 or 40-year-old, whereas someone in their 50s and 60s might be focused more on giving back to the community or feeling a connection in how they can help others to derive happiness. Someone in their 70s or 80s or 90s might look back and find happiness in the small pleasures of life. So happiness is very subjective. It's very different for every different person in the world. There are connections towards happiness, but ultimately what we need to remember is that happiness and the attainment of it, the feeling of it, the experience of it, is very different from reaching certain life goals, because reaching certain life goals does not guarantee that it will make you happy. The most important thing to remember is that happiness starts in the mind. What you think, you create. What thoughts you're thinking in this moment, what self-talk you are using towards yourself and the experiences around you, will determine whether or not you are allowing yourself to move through those experiences in the most comfortable, easeful, and happy way possible. If your attitude to something in your life needs a little improving, tuning in and listening to your thoughts about that person or that situation or that relationship or that aspect of your job or that part of your body, by tuning in and asking yourself what you really think about those things, you'll be able to identify erroneous beliefs that have been hindering your ability to have the right attitude towards your life in each and every moment that can bring you more happiness, satisfaction, comfort, ease, communication, and an inner peace. So I propose something to you right now. What could you do now to allow yourself to be happy, to feel happy? What is it that you do that makes you feel connected, that makes you feel your best, that makes you feel relaxed and safe and loved, happy? Try and do more of that today. And give yourself permission to be happy now, right now, in this moment of your life, because this moment is the only moment you ever have conscious control over. If this video has been helpful for you and you've had some insights and ahas, please share it with your loved ones and get them on board the happiness train as well. Take care, everyone. See you next time.